incredibly lucky that that I keep being joining the conference, and it has been an amazing, incredible theme for me. So it seems like Ajed is trying to join us again. I hope that. But in any case, we will keep going and we will keep chatting, and hopefully some of the people that already have gone to Healthy Voices. And there is Jed again.
I am back.
Hi, mijo. So why don't you go ahead? I mean, this is Jesus from San Francisco, and
I am Jed from outside of St. Louis, Missouri, and what am I doing? Going to my 7th Healthy Voices this November. Hi, yeah. How has it been that long? Seriously.
When was your first year?
It was 2019 in Dallas.
So we were at the first.
Yeah,
I mean, we
I
were
know.
together in the same.
Which is weird because, as we discussed last year, you've already been to 20 of the last 10 Healthy Voices. So, No barking. Yeah. Yeah, I know. We went to the same. We both started in 2019 in Dallas. And, I think maybe you were just so overly popular that.
No, stop it! Come on.
I think everyone just knew who you were. I was this newbie who didn't who didn't know anyone. And then.
So how did you end up in Healthy Voices? How did you learn yourself about Healthy Voices?
So I have ankylosing spondylitis, or if you want it to be more difficult, axial spondyloarthritis, and I had my spondy sister Dawn Gibson. She had gone to Healthy Voices, and she told me that I should definitely join. So I applied in 2018. I did not get in. But then I applied again in 2019, and they let me in, and it was great, and I show up in Dallas, and oh my gosh, everyone came out dancing to that song from the Greatest Showman, and I'm like, this is amazing. This is the most incredible thing I've seen in my entire life, and It was so cool because I'd gone to a couple conferences, but they were only for patients with my same condition. And this was the first time I was around people who represented all the different groups. And I was like, this is like, because this is me, that's the line from that song from The Greatest Showman. And I'm like, yes, this is me. This is me. It was so amazing. So that's, but then I've applied and gotten asked to come back every single year, because what can I say? You can't turn me down, right? I mean, Jesus and the conference would not be the same.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I was just telling the people that are here, that whoever is on the waiting list and everything to wait, because in my case also it was 2 days before the conference, and that's when they called me. And just to let you know about the varieties of health issues that we have in Healthy Voices, this is, and that's what is so important for me, is yet I was telling Jed, this is the 40th anniversary of my HIV journey, and I live with chronic pain, and you will find in Healthy Voices, like, Jed was saying, people of all kinds of mental and physical and, spiritual issues or whatever, and all kinds of colors, races, etc.
Yeah. And they really do a great job of finding a good mix of different types of people, not only different races and, like religious backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, but also just different chronic illness and disability and mental health communities. it's like, it was funny because I guess in 2022, where, I had my invite, but I didn't go. And it was, we were still a little afraid of COVID, and I didn't have my vax. So, so I said, sorry, I can't come. But that was the first year they invited people from the vision loss community, and last year, my bestie, who had never met before, but before we even came to the conference, we were besties. Carrie Bradshaw, she is a double hip transplant, and like she was the first one who had transplants, physical, bone and joint transplants to attend Healthy Voices. They're always trying to include more and more people.
I didn't know that. I also have a hip replacement. I
Oh
have a
yeah.
hip replacement.
Well, then forget it, Carrie. Sorry, Carrie. If you're watching, sorry. You're not the first. I'm sorry, but she is the first person with a double hip transplant to finish the Boston Marathon. So she has that going for her. But yeah.
Yeah, it's honestly, I keep saying myself that for me is the best conference ever, and it sounds like this is me, like you say. And you mentioned something, and I posted in one of the things that you say, once your family, that's it.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about that? Why do
Yeah.
you
I mean,
feel
so
that
like,
way?
so again, Healthy Voices is a conference. They invite about 150. I think Dallas was 150. I think last year it was like 120 people from who are all online, active, disability, chronic illness, advocates and patient leaders. And but it's not just a conference. You are going there to learn things. You are going there to
Yeah.
listen to speakers, but it is so much more than that. I think I can't remember who it
Thank you.
was
Thank you.
described it. It is a party where we talk about chronic illness. It's nonstop fun and excitement. And once you go to the conference, you are part of the Healthy Voices family. Even if you're not the most active member, even if you've never spoken, even if you're not one of the people up on stage, or just you are a part of the family. And we will I went to Healthy Voices knowing one person, and I left knowing like 140 people, and I stayed in touch with those, because we did the COVID lockdown the next year. We did online chats on Zoom and stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, we all stuck together. And, I said this to Mama Caroline last year in the last day.
They seem to be becoming more mamas.
Yeah,
Mama
Mama.
Becky, Mama Carol, Mama Jenny, Mama Danielle.
Yes, you are. Again, that's all you. To be fair, though, with your accent, I didn't know if it was Mama Vicky or Mama Becky for like a year. But I figured it out.
Yes, I have an accent.
Yeah. So I was saying to Caroline last year, it's like, there's some people who come to Healthy Voices, they attend 1 year, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with attending 1 year. They get what they need and they go out in the world. But there's other people like you and I and like, Daniel Garza and I think, I don't know, everyone else who kind of Gabe Howard, like those, like who show up almost every year.
Yeah.
Healthy Voices is part of our advocacy journey.
Yeah.
It's like it's not just a way to learn things. It is part of our journey because we thrive on that network, on those social connections that we make. Again, it's like I say that Healthy Voices is the shot in the butt that I need every single year to get encouraged and empowered to go forth and do the projects that I want to do. And the cool thing about it is, have all the connections with Johnson & Johnson and the other advocacy groups that show up. You tell a bunch of people, like, here's my ideas. And there are people who have connections to resources who tell you, you know what, we'd like to help you with that, you know, which I think that's a
Yeah,
good segue into the Healthy Voices Impact Fund. You know, it's there's
exactly.
yeah.
You want to, I mean, we can, yeah, exactly. One of the things that is very, very important about Healthy Voices, of course, everyone, and that's what they check when you apply for Healthy Voices. They look at all your social media to see what what is your strengths, what kind of health issues are you applying for.
Mhm.
But you don't have to be an agency or an organization. And that's where this impact fund,
Yes.
and once again, we're not being paid for this chat right now and everything. It's us, family. Um, why? What do impact fund is different than any other funds or any other grants that people can receive? What is the difference?
I mean, I think that the Impact Fund is, I mean, first of all, there's, like I said, so Healthy Voices is this family, and it's like
Yeah,
asking, you know, it's like asking mom and dad who have, you know, the bank account of Johnson Johnson, to say, you know, hey, I'd like some money to help me with this project. And the cool thing about the Impact
yeah,
Fund is that it is like, you know, like I've applied for it, and I've also been on the committee to decide who gets the grants that year. And you know, it's like you sit down and you say, all right, this is the idea I have. This is the community I want to help with. And this is how many people I'm planning on helping, you know? And it's great because, you know, it's like you come up with like just whatever dream you have. You write it down, you make a budget, you know, this is how much money I'm going to need to make this plan happen. And then they
yeah,
look at it and they decide, you know, like, are you going to, you know, are you getting, what's the community you're helping? You know, I remember that was the biggest thing. It's like,
yeah.
how many people are you planning on helping, you know? And, you know,
How or right or how or which communities,
yeah,
or whatever it is that really sometimes there's many communities that are still being forgotten, right? And
yes,
especially wherever your political and views and everything this time, these are hard times.
yes.
So whatever you can take advantage of, like in this case of the impact fund, is super important. Can I tell you? Can I say a little anecdote of why do I feel this is like the best conference ever?
Yeah.
Just very yeah. So for me, it's so much more than any other conference that I've been going to so many HIV conferences and other kinds of types. But one day, in one of the conferences that happened with Healthy Voices, and that shows you the love and the kind of people that they're part of, what I call my angels of Healthy
Mhm.
Voices and J&J. There were problems at the airport with the flight,
Mhm.
and a few of us got stuck at the airport. And so, immediately some of the ladies that they were still at the hotel, they say, "No worries, just come back to the hotel, and we take care of everything."
Yeah.
I'll come back to the hotel, and there were three of these beautiful angels waiting for me with soup in their hands. For real, this is real. With soup in their hands, and already they had arranged a room and everything for some of the people that got stuck at the airport that time. And they always take their time to get to know us and to help us. And for me, details like this one, mijo, is
Mhm.
they're stuck forever. The anecdotes and not only of other people like you, but also these amazing people that make the conference happen. Do you know a little bit about the history of why or how this started?
You know what? I've heard them talk about it, but you know, I know that it was, you know, it was Caroline, and I know she's the one who started it all. But it's that I feel like you probably know a little bit better. So why don't you share?
No, but we can share. Yeah, exactly. No, I was asking
Yeah.
you just to know us a little bit. So there are two people that they're very well. I guess there's a few people. The whole thing, Mijo, is that social media advocates, people that are in social media doing advocacy work and health work, independently of your own health issues, they're helping other people.
Hmm.
So Caroline, and also there was Rebecca Tillett and
Hmm.
a couple of other people, they saw something that was needed. These people, they were there helping others, and they were helping people like Caroline and Rebecca and other people, but they needed support. And this conference for me, precisely, that's what it made the difference. What was needed, it was support to the advocate to be a better advocate to help others. And now, like you say, some of them are Mama Becky,
Yeah.
Mama, uh, Mama Caroline, and I'm always amazed, of even when I see people with schizophrenia or bipolar or many other mental health issues as well, doing a comedy show
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or any of these things, and it touched my heart, always.
Hmm.
So
I
that's always like for me. Like, do you have any anecdotes or things that I don't know, you want to tell people about? Or
Well, I will say, like, just briefly, and then I'll probably come up with a better story. Last year, and it was raining, when we left, but excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of my.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Salud.
By the
I
way,
promise I'm not taking any
I am a
alcohol right
teacher,
now.
and so therefore I am justified to have stickers like this on my bottle. I For some reason I was not taking off until 10 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
and the other conference is over like 1 o'clock, right? So they were like, someone just hanging out at the airport, and I wasn't supposed to leave on the
Yeah.
shuttle until like 6 o'clock, and they're like, okay, that's not fair because no one else is going to be here for like 3 hours, and I'm like, it's fine. I got a book. Like, no, no, no. And they hop on and they're calling up all of their, the J&J travel agents and this, that, trying to find me an earlier flight. And we found out
Yeah.
that legit there were no earlier flights. They do not exist because apparently flying from New Jersey to St. Louis is not something that people want to do, I guess. But but it was great. They were just so kind, and they're like, "Oh, please, are you sure? Can we
Yeah.
do anything for you?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm good." But, it's just, I think it is just, it's kind of cool. All right, here's something that's kind of cool, right? So last year, we had a celebrity join us, as part of the conference. It was, a name that I could tell you 100 times over until this exact moment, but. I lost it. But she played the eldest daughter on Mrs. Doubtfire and the eldest
Mm.
daughter in Independence Day. And she came to the Healthy Voices conference last year to talk about mental health. And, she talks to veterans and stuff with PTSD and
Yeah.
stuff. And she's talking about just pulling back, finding your peace, keeping that positive mental energy. And, she didn't
Mm.
just come in for one day. She was there for the entire conference, and then I feel like we had another celebrity join us. Oh man, but it's like
But
people.
they're always, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's amazing people that come by, and again, they don't just stop by, do their speech, sign a few autographs, and get out. They hang out with us, like it is this community. It's like I'm going to another conference in October, and it's a week-long conference, but I'm presenting on Sunday, which I think is honestly the last day, or it's either the first day or the last day, either way. And thank goodness it's Sunday, so I don't have to miss work. But it's over in Chicago, so it's like a 5-hour drive, no problem. And I'm presenting with a couple Healthy Voices alumni. We're talking about communities and stuff.
yeah, lovely.
And it's like, and again, you just show up. You may talk to a few people, but you're only there for the amount of time that you need to be there. Like people fly in, they fly out. You may not see your best friends because you're there from Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. They're there Thursday to Friday. But Healthy Voices, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You're there the whole time, and you're eating meals together, and you're meeting new people. And I always love the meal times. Are some of my favorites because you sit down and you get to meet people that you may never have spoken to before, and you get to learn about all the cool things that they're doing. And for me, with my imposter syndrome, which I bathe in daily, I talk to these people like, oh, well, I'm talking to Congress next week and I'm doing this. And, my podcast has over 10. Pardon, my dog just unplugged my light. How rude.
And what he said that, saludos a las hermanas Mata. Yo soy you that you are watching us. You are right here on the people that they are joining us. I'm sure many of the people that have been on, some of the people at least in Healthy Voices, they are joining us already. So Hermanas Mata, we also have done, of course, in Healthy Voices, things in Spanish, things for the gay community, things for so many kinds of people. So Hermanas Mata, hello, how are you? I just say hello to some of the people.
Yeah, so it's like you get to meet people that you may never have spoken to before, but that's what I was talking about. And then they do such amazing things. But and again, I do feel a little bit of like, oh man, gosh, I gotta up my game. But honestly, you're not being judged. Some people like I spoke at the again, I was supposed to speak at the 2020 conference. Obviously, that didn't happen in person. I remember thinking, wait, because the conference at that point was in April, and March obviously was when we all kind of shut down. But I remember thinking, oh, they're overreacting. This isn't going to be a big thing. What are we talking about? Because I was just so excited to go to Healthy Voices, But so I ended up speaking at the online conference, but then it was the next year, I guess 2021. Oh, Gatito, hello. My first actual big talk at Healthy Voices was all about don't compare yourself to others. We all have our different skills. Like I am a support group education kind of person, but there's no way I'm marching in Washington. That's just not my style, but I know someone also in the AS community, the ankylosing spondylitis community, who, they are great. Like they will march on Washington and go to protests all day long, but they do not want to run a support group, So the fact is that, we're all doing, it's just a big puzzle, and we're all providing certain pieces to create this big advocacy picture that we're all trying to create together. And like I said before, you make these connections at Healthy Voices, which again, I've never made connections at any other conference like I have at Healthy Voices. And then you end up working together, I think it was great that, we both went to 2019, which then gave us those connections to make 2020 a lot more fun. I could not imagine.
Oh my God. Hold on.
I could not imagine.
Well, Ian Patton from Canada, that he's right there. He's watching us right. Hi, Ian from Canada. I think you're going also to LD Voice. It's just nice to see the people that they're joining. Hi,
Mr. Canada's on.
Yeah, he's right here. Mr. Ian Patton is on. So I'm looking at some of the other people, and that it's this is like so beautiful. By the way, also, and this is very important. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's in certain less amount of people, but they bring people. Once they select you, they pay for everything: your flight, your hotel, your So this is very important because, like Ian, he is the how you call it, like the head of obesity issues in Canada and stuff, and he might tell us later on more about it if some other people join us. But there's like people sometimes from England or Australia or
Right.
you know. So this is another beautiful part of it, and just joining with what you were saying, and you were talking about sometimes some celebrities join us. For me, honestly, oh my God, I've been so impacted and so touched by almost like each person that I had met right there. And for me, these people, like every one of them, is a celebrity in that way because, come on, talk about like
Yeah.
Barbie and Ken.
Right. Right. Ken
You
and
know,
Barbie, right? Real people, by
yeah,
the way. They're not like, it's not like nicknames. They're really married
yeah,
couple.
exactly. Like
Ken and
people don't
Barbie.
know that. Are you talking serious? Is Barbie
Yeah.
and Ken? Yes, we know Barbie and Ken.
Yes.
And Barbie, she's like, and Ken, in charge of this international pain foundation, and
Mhm.
and come on, Jet. One time I saw her, I went to her the pain conference,
Mhm.
and I'm not lying to you. She was on a wheelchair with a oxygen tank on the bank,
Uh-huh.
directing the conference and everything. And this is the people that you meet at Healthy
Yeah.
Voices. It's like what?
Oh, I mean, and that's
I'm
again, that's part of
excited.
the reason why it is such an exciting conference because
Yeah.
90% of us are just like always on, like it's just it's a
Yeah.
big, it is a big production. And of course, then that leads to the actual production of open mic night on the last night. But
Oh my God. Doesn't it? Like the first time that I saw open mic, I was like, are you serious? These people have their own health issues.
Mhm.
They're advocates. And on top of that, they're good comedians or singers or
Mhm.
actors and all those things. I was like, whoa.
I know.
But
A hot mess. I'm blanking on names today. Like
no, no, mijo,
she gets up there
keep
and it's like,
keep
oh
keep
well,
keep going with your vibe.
I've heard some good singers. I've heard some good singers, and then she starts belting it out at open mic night. I'm like, I'm sitting front row on the
Yeah.
couch because I've got joint issues. I need to sit on the couch. Excuse me, but it's like I'm like boom, like that is some amazing singing.
Yeah.
Really talented people, and of course you blow everyone away every year. So just saying, not me.
Yeah, I think, and this is something that we should touch a little bit on, Mijo, because like I see you, and I see many of your postings and the things that you do, and the same thing with many of the people that go there. Um, right now, I'm talking to you, and this is sometimes again things that people forget. I'm like almost like vibrating with the pain that I'm feeling,
Mhm.
and many of us, and you're talking about the imposter syndrome, and you're talking, and we should explain a little bit also and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
um, but many of us, we made an effort to help others, but many times then they don't see, or they don't know sometimes what we are passing through, right, or what we're experiencing.
Right.
And not because we're having fun right now, they might not know exactly how much you went. Come on, many of our brothers and sisters, how many times they go to the hospitals and go in and
Right.
out? And you
Mhm.
want to talk about the imposter syndrome, Nico, because you talk about
Yeah. I mean,
that
it's
for
just
yourself.
it's like I mean, it's twofold because there's the imposter syndrome of, like I was saying, like this person's so much better than me. I do not deserve to be in this group of people. I know there's a couple
Mm.
people who went to Healthy Voices and they're like, the first day they were so nervous. Like, I'm listening to all these people with these great stories. I don't have stories. I don't have my own podcast. I don't, I'm not doing this. I don't belong here. And you belong, like everyone. Seriously, you all belong. You get the
Yeah.
invite to Healthy Voices. You belong. I check
Yeah.
mark. Guaranteed. But then there's also, and I've written about this a number of times, but it's a topic that I think everyone needs to hear, throughout time. Is you don't know how other people are feeling, like you were just saying,
Yeah.
and you I see pictures of people with ankylosing spondylitis, the videos of them, they're crying in bed and they're talking about, I'm in the worst pain ever. And I'm like, I've never laid in bed crying, but the truth is,
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe, like maybe our pain is exactly the same. Maybe I have a higher tolerance. I don't know. It's literally impossible to step into someone else's shoes to know what they're
Exactly. Yeah.
feeling like. And again,
Yeah.
I wish that someone could come up with some like, virtual reality suit, where you can actually experience what someone else is feeling.
No,
I know I
I
don't want to need it,
promise.
but I'm saying, but other people need that. But it's like, are they in more
Yeah.
pain than me? Or am I handling it better? I don't know. But the truth is that, I always tell, I'm a teacher and I always tell my students, like, you do not know everyone's full story. You don't know what they felt this morning. You don't know what's
It's
going on in their life. It's like
yeah. Well,
I'll write a parent and I'll go, oh, they were kind of a jerk today, and then they were causing a lot of trouble, and they say, oh, well, grandma died yesterday. I'm like, oh, well, I did not know that.
exactly.
And it's the same with health.
Yeah.
It's like, you someone may be a little standoffish, and you're like, well, they just got an $80,000 medical bill, and it's like, you
Lucia,
don't know.
Lucia is saying hello to you.
Oh, hello,
Lucia,
Lucia.
Lucia.
Hello.
Yes, Ken. He just
Yeah,
goes, yes,
yes,
Ken.
King, I know. It's corn.
No,
Sorry.
exactly. It's all those physical and mental things also, mijo. Like if I talk about like I'm very open about talking to people about saying I
Yeah.
live with high levels of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I was checking with you about this TikTok thing because
Right.
I'm kind of an oldie and more the Facebook generation. Lucia's missing
Uh-huh.
you. And I was nervous about it and my anxiety was like, and I have
Mm-hmm.
PTSD, baby, just because, like a few of us, I've been really close to dying a few times
Mm-hmm.
and it gets stuck on you, it's like it's difficult many times and how many people that we know in our family of healthy voices are also have tried to commit suicide
Right.
or
No
have done
kidding.
it. Were you there? Were you there when the guy that jumped from the Golden Gate Bridge? Were you there? He was as a guest,
Okay.
and he survived jumping from the Golden Gate Bridge, and Lucio's like what? Um, And I remember he was like almost like really hyperactive and everything.
Mhm.
And then someone in the audience, started in the other side almost crying because he was so intense. And he stopped for a moment and he was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he kind of went down, almost to the level of her because
Mm-hmm.
many of us, we deal with so many different health issues. And Summer, hi, Summer. So, yes, like, yeah,
Yes, I
you
do.
do.
I do watch.
Um,
Yes. Okay.
you know, so mijo, it's like all
Mm-hmm.
these things that sometimes we don't see or don't acknowledge, and then until we finally see this person, and every day a person might ask you, "How are you?" and we just say, "Oh, just fine."
Right.
You
Oh yeah.
really want another story,
Mm-hmm.
then, and that's once again what Healthy Voices does for many of us. It
Yeah.
gave us that space to breathe,
Yes.
space to just I don't know, um, just relax for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, I guess because we talk about right now, because I just say that some people were trying to commit suicide. Now TikTok is restricting a little bit the
Oh
viewership. It's interesting, just because I just mentioned that some of the people did that. And I recognize it's not an easy
no.
thing to talk about. But
But
it is real.
it is real. It is real, and it's. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it and get us all taken off,
Yeah, yeah,
but yeah, but it's like it is, like pain, like chronic pain, like you and I and so many other people live with, is so difficult. Like, and I mean, look, like there's no cure. There's
yeah.
you can use heat, you can use massage, you can acupuncture and pills, and that helps a little bit. It may take the edge off, but it's not
Yeah.
it's not 100%. It's like, and you have that silly one pain scale 1 to 10. Can I be an 11? Like, I don't know. Like, and of course, there's also the imposter syndrome of, am I really a 10 though? It's
Yeah.
but like, people don't understand how tough living in chronic pain is on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I mean, just knowing that your
Yeah.
body hates you, like I always
I
say,
think it's very important.
yeah. I
Not just to
I
say
would rather
time is
hurt because
passing
of
by.
something I did. Like I walked 5 miles, or I was, in the garden way longer than I should have been. I would rather hurt because of something I did, rather than hurting just because my body hates me. And it's tough. It's tough. Again, I've been living with it for 31 years now. I mean, I was diagnosed when I was 12 years old, and yes, it was not as bad as it is now. Back then, I still was very active, because there was no cure, there was no treatment for me back in that day. Now there's tons of treatments available, but they just said stay active, so I did. I played sports, I ran. That became my number one sport. I ran long distance and cross country and track, and I eventually one day, I just basically just from running and the fact that I have a condition that more or less eats my bones, I broke my ankle. That was the first time I stopped moving in my entire life, and that's when it caught up with me. And I hadn't run since. But I still walk. I still walk.
Yeah.
I try to stay active because sometimes it's like I like to feel like I have control over my body now.
How did that affect your? I mean, I don't know. You want to talk openly about it, but and also, by the way, I just took the chance to hopefully invite. It's time is like flying, but how do all the physical elements that you experience, and I'm getting to know you a little bit more right now, and that's something that I feel is still in Healthy Voices. We should learn a little bit more about each other's health, but how do all these things that you're mentioning also affect your mind or your spirit? Are there days that you really feel like really,
Down and
more desperate or?
absolutely. Fortunately, not those days. The wintertime, because cold, is not happy, for me. My body's not happy when it's cold, but I like the heat. But I shouldn't move to Arizona with Ken and Barbie. But but it's like, no, when my pain is up, my mood is down. It's tough, and I used to from the the National Axial Spondyloarthritis Society, which is a British group. They sell these red, orange, and green wristbands, the rubber wristbands that everyone loves so much. And so it's like the green one is I'm having a good day, orange is I'm just okay, and red is I'm having a bad day. And so I used to wear those just to show, so people would know that how I was feeling. And it's became I even wrote a article about it for this book that got published. That was I call it the red wristband of invisibility, because when you're in pain all the time and you're always wearing that red wristband, people stop paying attention to how you're feeling. And interesting. So I don't know where Jesus went, but he's great. But yeah, it's I'll just keep talking about Healthy Voices while waiting for Jesus to come back. Oh, there he is. Hey, he's back. So yeah,
It's one of those technical things. I was just step out for a moment. I was hearing you, and
you were hearing. That's good. Okay, that's good. But yeah, so I would wear these wristbands so my coworkers would know how I was feeling. So
yeah,
if I had that red wristband on, they knew leave them alone. Don't, because I was tired of people asking me how are you feeling. Because of course I'm going to lie. I'm okay. I'm fine. Whatever. I'm great. Yeah, whatever. Because
Yeah.
it's so much easier just to say fine than get into your whole story. Because sometimes it's no one's business. I mean, for me, it's all, I don't care. I share. I'm open for everything. But or you're just so tired of telling that story, or people get tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
It's like, because so many people, they cannot understand that chronic pain is forever, and you're not
Yeah.
going to get better. I am not going to wake up one day cured. It's
Yeah.
literally,
Mijo,
it's not going to happen.
yeah, I'm sorry, my brain just went blank a little bit. When
No,
is
go ahead.
exactly Healthy Voices? Is November?
It's November. It's like the first week of November.
Oh my God. So sorry, guys. That should be the information that I should
Yeah.
have in front and we should have in front.
Mhm.
But this year, the conference is happening in November.
Yeah.
It has been happening in different places of the United States. And
Mhm.
by the way, this little chat right here, information and everything. If you have any other question, once I post this, I promise I will also post Jet's information and my information. And we don't work directly, neither with Healthy Voices. We have been advocates and help and everything,
Mhm.
or Johnson and Johnson, but we will help you. We will do our best. Is there something that we are missing that will be? I guess we should emphasize once again that if they select you, this is a small conference, guys. It's not like a many others that you see thousands of people
Mhm.
sometimes. And that's sometimes part of the magic in this conference. It's like you say, 150, maybe the most, or
Yeah, I think
something like
Dallas was
that.
150. I want to say last year was about 120. Because
Yeah.
the hotel in Princeton's just a
Yeah.
little smaller. Again, well, nothing. Everything is smaller than a hotel in Dallas. That place was huge, and we had like
But
two whole floors
remember,
to ourselves.
if they select you, they pay
Mhm.
for everything.
Yes.
It's very important to really see what kind of representation you have. It's not just about your numbers or your followers. You might be representing a community that is not too represented, and I know without a doubt, and that's at least my perception, that always the people working for Healthy Voices, they always try to listen and make to see how many women or people from different races or the
Mhm.
LGBT community or different kinds of mentalities and people of color and everything. I think they do their best,
Yeah.
and it's very difficult. And I also know that many people sometimes feel, sad that sometimes they're not being selected and right now. And once again, to all the people on the waiting list, I promise, guys, it can happen. It
Yeah.
happened to me 2 days
Mhm.
before, two
Yeah.
days before the conference.
Yeah. Jim Sneeden, he's gotten like a last minute invite the last 2 years. Like literally
Yeah.
like the day before. Yep. So you can be invited the day before it starts. I know a
Yeah.
couple people that's happened to. Like I said, my 2022, I started on the wait list. So again, it came out in like, May, and by the middle of June, I was off the wait list.
Yeah.
Because it is a big, it's 4 days, because they fly you in, they give you an extra day just to kind of like get settled, and different communities will go out to dinner, that night,
Yeah.
so like again, the immunology, rheumatology, team. I mean, we all went out to Ruth Chris and ate $60 steaks last year, and
Yeah.
that was pretty good. But a lot of people, they can't, get that much time off, and
I know. Yeah.
so yeah, it's so
Yeah.
people. The point is like people drop out, like again, I had to drop
Yeah.
out because
Exactly.
I was not
Sometimes
vaccinated
things
against the
happen.
COVID, because the COVID vaccine literally wouldn't work for me. So
Yeah.
it's like I have an
Yeah.
autoimmune condition, so I didn't
I
do
want
it.
to
They said,
mention
sorry, you
something
have to.
that at least that's the way that I feel. I think
Yeah.
Healthy Voices also bring an opportunity to meet many people that many times you will never talk to
Oh
or
yeah.
never will know about other health issues. Because
Hmm.
the reality on this life is that many times we talk to people that, in our own health issues, and that was what was
Right.
happening to me. I felt in the moment that I went to Healthy Voices that almost like I escaped out of the bubble of my
Yeah.
own
Uh-huh.
health, and I opened myself to all all of many other kinds of people. Hi, Wanda, my love. I hope you're doing okay. I keep watching just right here all the different
Yeah.
people
Make it
that have
happen.
gone to Healthy Voices,
Yeah.
mijo, and that they you might know maybe some of the other people and trying to recognize the names, but to all of you who are here watching or you're gonna be watching, remember if there's any question or anything, we will try to help you. Um,
Absolutely.
we're so sorry we don't have the exact date of the conference.
It's
That's
no, I
bad.
know it's right after my
Um,
wife's birthday, so it's like the first week of November.
yeah, it
I
is
want to say it's almost
coming
like the
soon,
second. I think it
exactly
might
in
start on the second.
November. This-
Yeah.
we
Um,
we should have that information in top on front, and that made the difference of why we're not being paid for. But it says right here. The live will end in 4 minutes. I didn't even know that we have a
I
time
didn't know
limit.
there was this. Wow, who knew?
I
I didn't know
didn't know
that.
that.
So,
So,
but yeah, I will second that. That last year, like once they release the list of people who are going, I go through everybody's Instagram, everyone's TikToks, and I follow,
oh,
follow, follow. I
oh,
anyone
mijo,
wants to ask questions
I
about the
didn't know there was
conference.
a time limit.
I
I
didn't
didn't know there
either.
was a time limit. What are
Any
we forgetting? What are we forgetting?
talk to us. It's I if you
My
want to get your
anxiety
first timer to
levels.
the
Oh my
conference,
God.
yeah, you can talk to me. You can talk to Jesus. We you reminded me of me when I was a virtual teacher. I had puppets, but I yeah, like I helped out. I helped so many people last year. With just information like as simple as what should I pack. Because
Yeah,
people thought,
thank you, thank
is
you.
it a dress code?
Oh,
No, there is
yeah.
no dress code. Are you
This
kidding
is the
me?
kind of conference that you can take as many outfits as you want to.
Yeah.
Brian, I don't see you, Brian, but one of our friends, he was saying that he's gonna pack 25 outfits this
Yeah.
year.
Well, because Brian needs to change every few minutes because he's got to keep it going. Like it's like, yeah, there's so it's so
uh,
funny because this is me. I wear a Healthy Voices shirt. I'm
yeah,
gonna wear Healthy Voices shirts and like chronic illness shirts. But
yeah.
then you got some of the ladies who dress as fine as possible. And it's
Yeah,
like it's
it's different styles.
yeah, and it's
Just
okay.
be yourself.
Yes,
Be
be
yourself.
yourself. Be yourself. Be
Be
comfortable. Um,
in case if we get cut off any moment, because I
yeah,
didn't even know that there was a
I
time
didn't
limit
either.
here. Um, we love you guys. We are doing this for me at least, and I know that Jet thinks the same thing because
Mhm.
you guys are family. Honestly, and to all the people that had gone to conferences before, we're trying, and I've been talking to Mama Becky and Mama Carolina, so that hopefully we can find a way to make it more interactive because the conference is live, but also it is online.
It is.
So for the ones
Mhm.
that cannot go, this is important. You can also register to be online. You can talk to any one of us. There's a Facebook page. We mainly in Instagram. You can find more about Healthy Voices. But we're gonna share this recording also as well to every possible social media, and then you can send more messages there. I'm trying to see don't we don't sadly the most important information the day of the
I
conference.
I think we've covered it. And again, Healthy Voices first week in November.
Actually, I thought about that.
Yeah,
But I do know that for whatever reason, the the TikTok thing, it just told me that they might. Let me see just if I have it really, really fast. But that's fine. You guys can find that if you you know, you've Jesus Guillen, in any of the social media, you're singing advocate here because I love to sing and I always posting things about singing. You should also see Jet's impression of Yoda, the,
My
the
my
Star
impression
Wars,
of who?
the Yoda, the Star Wars character.
Oh, Yoda, Yoda.
Um,
Yes. Go to Healthy Voices, you must. Be strong with the force, you shall be.
and once again, to all the people that you have joined, you're from Healthy Voices and you're going, we are looking forward to see you. For the ones on the waiting list, once again, there's always hope. I know because it happened to me. And just for whatever reason, like Jet said, you know, it's just maybe we're just lucky for whatever reason, but
Yeah.
we're still going and looking forward to see you. I don't know what else can we tell you about Healthy Voices, but once again, for me, thank you to every angel, to every person of Johnson and Johnson and Healthy Voices
Yes.
for everything that you guys do.
Mhm.
We're incredibly thankful, and you guys are gonna make me cry because you have done so much for me, and I know
That's the most
that you
caring
keep
people in the
doing a lot
world.
of. Yeah,
Mhm.
and also to all our brothers and sisters that assist there. Ross, my friend from Canada, Mary, Tiffany, she has been in the hospital a lot. So many of
Yeah,
these
yeah.
people, you know. Um, just saying hello to all the people that constantly are with health issues or in the hospital, sending
Mhm.
you healing energy. That's the best that we can do.
Yes.
Anything else yet that you think we should mention before
No, I
this
just that
having happened?
follow Healthy Voice, at Healthy Voices.
Yeah, it's an
And
Instagram.
hashtag Healthy Voices, and it's by health letter E
E. Yeah,
voices. 20. What are we up to? 25.
yeah,
That'll be the hashtag for this year's conference. So just follow that hashtag and follow at Healthy Voices,
yeah,
and you'll get all the information you need. If there's any updates of things you can do or like other lives going on, you'll find out through that.
yeah.
Um,
And I guess just because in these days, these things, it will help us a lot. Also, don't forget to follow Jed in all his different social media and to follow me as well, of course. And to follow all your other brothers and sisters with different health issues right there
yes.
of Healthy Voices. We'll do our best. So we say, hasta luego.
Hasta
Nos vemos
luego.
pronto. Mucho cariño.
Bye.
Thank you, Jet. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone. We'll see
Jesus.
you at Healthy Voices. Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.